you, cousin. Give me an intro. Let's have some fun.
Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Cuzzy, it feels good to be back. We're back. It's March. It's time.
I forgot what you schmucks look like. You look beautiful. Let me tell you, I see it through the lens. All right, we're here to talk conference tournaments. Who needs to win to get in because they sucked all year? Rutgers basketball team for one. And then we're going to talk about other teams. So let's kick it off. Big East to start. The favorites to win the Big East right now are St. John's. St. John's is one of the most athletic teams in the nation. They can't shoot free throws and they can't shoot the three. Is there something about the the Big East that you like? Is there someone you like, or where are you at?
The Big East is funny. There's a lot of good teams in this conference. I mean, you got the Johnnies, Ricky P's at the helm. The Johnnies have flipped the script on everybody. But then, there's those tournament teams that are coming out of the Big East. Teams like Creighton, who always kind of...
Creighton's awkwardly good.
They're awkwardly good. They kind of make a push this time of the year. Then you got UConn. Can't really sleep on them. They haven't played great ball, but they got a great coach. They're the defending champs.
I'm going to give you a little prediction. Danny, you got something in this?
I think certainly St. John's at MSG, that's going to be rocking, I think, in New York. And they're fighting for a 2 seed right now in the NCAA tourney. So everybody's eyes are on them. They're looking like a lock as a conference to get 4 in, and Xavier would be the 5th.
I'm going to give you who I think they're going to face in the championship of the Big East. I'm going to have them facing St. John's versus UConn in the championship game of the Big East to see who wins. I think Madison Square Garden will be sold out. I think Spike Lee will be courtside, and I think St. John's loses a close game, personally, to a UConn. But that's my prediction. You can take it, you can leave it, you can tell me to shove it.
Yeah, Saturday night.
That would be hell of a game.
I think that's a great
think
pick.
Ricky P will come out in that white suit?
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
He might come out in that white suit.
RJ Lewis has been pretty...
I'm just saying St. John's is so athletic, it's going to get them to the championship game. The question is, can UConn win those games? I think UConn's going to go ahead and beat Creighton, and I think that they're going to play them in the championship.
And to Marco's point, St. John's in free throw percentage this season, 312th out of 355. So they're only shooting 66% as a team. We get close games in the dance, even the Big East tournament. That matchup with UConn would be... They've had some good ones this year. Xavier would be intriguing, the game to watch. Xavier,
I've watched Marquette all year. I don't think Marquette can beat St. John's athletically.
I'm with you.
I watched Marquette get steamrolled physically.
In the paint,
In the paint. And I just think they'd get abused. So that's my opinion on the Big East. We're done with them. On to the next. Here we go. God, I missed you pieces of... Can't swear we're partnered now,
ACC, Cuzzy.
Give it to me.
ACC.
Give it to me. You're an ACC guy.
Listen,
at you.
the
Credit
ACC,
score is good.
I got to tell you, the ACC, they are weak this year. Aside from Duke, who obviously, I know you guys, I said weak, and you guys all went nuts on the couch just now.
Yep.
Duke is not weak. I understand that. But in terms of ACC play, typically in years past, I'm not impressed whatsoever. In fact, I'd be surprised if Duke doesn't win this conference title with their pants down.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I think North Carolina is in the same top of the bracket. They're 5th in this bracket.
Yep.
I think you're going to see Pittsburgh beat Notre Dame. I think you're going to see North Carolina beat Pittsburgh. That's NC facing Wake Forest. NC is going to win that game. They're going to go. Duke is going to beat Virginia, probably Georgia Tech, actually. I'm shooting from the hip here. Then we got Duke, right? And you're going to have Duke versus UNC. I think that's going to be a chaotic. The line's going to be 9.5. And
it's a Friday night game. It would be at 6 Central.
It'll be fun to watch. It'll be a war because that's North Carolina.
That's their season.
If they beat Duke, they're in.
Last time they played, Duke absolutely obliterated them.
Yeah. And I know there's other teams in this conference, don't get me wrong. But the way I look at it is Florida State should beat Syracuse. SMU should beat both of them to play Clemson. Cal will probably win this Virginia Tech game. Cal is the best 15th ranked seed in the country. Just letting you know that now.
They got a lot of talent.
That team just somehow loses games that they shouldn't. It's weird. I think Cal will beat Stanford, and then you'll have Cal versus Louisville. So my prediction in this is Duke versus, this hurts to say, probably a ugly SMU team.
That could be. They're only projected to get 3 teams in right now.
Yeah.
So barring somebody wins the conference tournament, has an NC State like run like last year.
What's Clemson? Plus 700. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, this conference here, you're looking at teams that used to be good. Florida State,
Yes.
Syracuse,
Even Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
They got to start spending less money on football, more on basketball again.
Only 3 projected teams in the dance. Carolina needs to get
How
it going.
many projected teams are in the dance of the Big East?
The Big East, only 4. Xavier would be a 5th, and Xavier's basically like last team in out right now.
Xavier would need to beat Marquette.
Marquette, and depending on bid stealers, even maybe St. John's, but
Interesting.
definitely Marquette.
My pick to win this, the ACC, is a very boring Duke, which is minus 340. But in the last bracket, I think UConn at plus 450 is some serious value.
Yeah, it
Danny,
is.
I got a question for you on this ACC side. Give me your sleeper team of this ACC side right now. If one of these teams, whether it be an 11, 14, 15, 10, 13, 12, one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I usually always love the ACC for its sleepers. This year, I'm not overly confident with anybody because it's been so top heavy. I mean, SMU, like Marco mentioned, could be an intriguing matchup if they were to get by Clemson. I wouldn't be shocked to see them maybe get to the ACC title game, but maybe the Wake Forest Carolina winner can give Duke a good run for its money because they're a lock for a 1 seed. I mean, it's a feather in the cap if you get the number 1 overall. Auburn's likely to get that, but really they're 1A, 1B. So how much does Duke care? We've seen half of the national champions in the history not win their conference championship games and still win the Natty, meaning like 50% win their conference tournaments. UConn did last year. The year before,
UConn just won every game.
right. Last year
they were far better though.
Yes.
They were so superior.
They were so ahead of everybody.
It was crazy.
But like the year before, they didn't. North Carolina with Roy Williams, all their natties, they did not win the ACC tournament, and they won 3.
So no love for Louisville here at 2.
Maybe I could see them getting to the ACC title game.
Louisville is plus 650 as the number 2 seed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Big 12. How many teams in the Big 12? It's got to be a lot. Are in the tourney this year.
Yeah. So right now we're looking at 8 projected at the moment.
Wow.
8, and we're just under a week away. Houston's looking like a mortal lock for a 1 seed. Texas Tech's gonna get either a 3 or a 4 most likely. Same for Iowa State. Arizona's gonna be probably a 5 or 6. Kansas is fighting for a good seed, but they're right now. This would crack the first time in Bill Self's career and the first time as a program since 2000. Kansas will not be a top 4 seed come Selection Sunday. Barring they win this Big 12 tournament, they probably won't be better than a 5. So they're likely right now to be a 7. So and BYU is going to get in, but they're probably going to be around that 6 or 7. And the selection committee has always a task. Why? They can't play on Sundays due to their school. So when they get released on Selection Sunday, they can't play a Friday Sunday game. They have to play Thursday Saturday. So they may be may moved up, they may move down. And then I mentioned Baylor and West Virginia.
That's a lot of games back to back
that is.
to back to back.
Yeah.
This might be one of those conferences, though, where if you know you're in,
You might not try very
You kind of
hard.
just lay down a little bit.
I'm going to be honest with you. Call me an absolute clown, but Kansas is 12-1 to win their conference. I mean, I'm not scared of anybody on that side of the bracket.
No, they just beat Arizona, pretty well on Saturday.
If Kansas can beat Utah or UCF,
no
fine.
problem. Yep.
I think Utah wins that game, so they'll face Utah. Utah's not a lay down either. Then you got Kansas to beat them. Then Kansas would have to play Arizona. They just beat Arizona. Then they would play a Texas Tech or call it a Kansas State or a Baylor.
Yeah.
I'll take a 12-1 Kansas on a flamer. You know,
And good note, they gave Houston 2 great games this year. They blew a lead in Lawrence, Kansas.
I watched that game.
Yes, that was a tough one. And then obviously recently, the last big Monday of the year, if you will, a week ago, Houston battled back and forth with Kansas in a game that was nip and tuck. Kansas, very rarely are they anti-chalk in any tournament, conference, NCAA, but as a 6 or 7, they were the preseason number 1 team. I wouldn't be shocked if they're like a slim dog on a weekend, not only this weekend, but maybe in the NCAA's in around 32.
All I'm saying is Kansas at 12-1. I mean, the first game is a layup for them. Then they'll face Arizona, where they're probably going to be plus 150. Fine. Then they're going to probably be another plus 150 against a Texas Tech. Unless Baylor wins, they'll be a favorite against Baylor.
Sure.
I don't know. 12-1 sounds like awesome value. Sign me up. I know Houston's on the top of that bracket. If you were to take Kansas, they're 12-1. Houston's plus 100 to win that conference. In my eyes, the number 1 seed's not winning this bracket.
I'm going to give you guys a sleeper in this bracket, and
Let's
that's
hear
going to
it.
be BYU 16-1. I love how they shoot the ball, but I love how they rebound the ball more.
They're so boring.
They are boring. And that's what I kind of like about
So
them
boring.
is that a team like Houston can kind of outplay themselves in a game versus BYU. And if that becomes the case, BYU could end up in that title game. And then, like you said, it's kind of the bottom of this bracket is kind of up for grabs, especially with Arizona and Kansas.
I don't want BYU and the Mormons anywhere near the
They are
championship
playing
game.
great. They're averaging 12 threes a game, 7th in the country.
They
So-
are
shoot it, bro.
I'll tell you this right now.
They shoot it.
Hey, when I'm laying in bed next to the wife and I see BYU on though, and they're plus like 8 or 9, it's me. Pound it.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Because
They
for
come
years
down.
they weren't good, but they were like good, but they were
Yes.
like annoying, right? But you always used to catch them plus points. Now they're favorites all the time. It's been fun to
They
watch.
come down and pop it. And I got news for you, Kansas faithful. There's nothing I want to see more than Dickinson on the couch in March. That guy's been playing for what, 8 years now? I mean,
he's the Van Wilder plan. It's unbelievable.
He's driving a golf cart around campus. Get him out of there.
And a fun fact quickly about BYU. You love these fun facts. They have the most NCAA tournament appearances without a Final Four trip. 31.
Wow.
Xavier and Missouri and Tennessee are next. Tennessee's going to be a high seed, but BYU is a 6-7. I wouldn't say take them to the Final Four, but the way they're playing right now, it will be very intriguing. They'll probably be a dog to Iowa State, who's projected to be a 4 seed at least, and BYU's not quite close to that. So that would be a fun game. BYU coming off rest on that Thursday against Iowa State, and you get that game, and you would potentially get the Cougs of Houston. That would
Okay, big dog.
Honestly, 16-1 though. It looks kind of sexy.
That is.
That's a lot of value for a team that rips it from 3.
Yeah, you could probably get really good value just against Iowa State, and we'll see how Iowa State looks. Playing the murder, I'm sure Oklahoma
Are you
State
getting
Cincy,
excited a
but
little bit?
This time of year for me is fun because like you can wake up and you're on the
Yeah.
Stairmaster and you get to watch
4
stuff,
games.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Like,
get
and gamble.
You get to gamble while you're at the gym. You're at work with your friends. You're looking at your buddy. You're like,
Yeah.
you definitely got action. What do you got?
Yeah, everybody's like, who
I
you
can
got?
see it in your eyes. Like, just tell me. Like, everyone's walking around the office and you can see guys moving a little quicker, getting the work done a little faster.
Yeah.
Boss, leave me alone.
The sun's
Boss
out.
is even a little laid
All
back
I'm
on
saying,
these days.
if you're a boss and somebody calls in on opening tip-off of March Madness,
Oh man,
just leave them alone. You know the drill. That's all I'm going to say. I shouldn't say that, though. I've got employees that might do it to me.
I was going to
man.
say, you're going to have 10 guys calling.
Listen, at work, the games will be on all day long. You don't need to miss work. Your boss will gamble with you and get you a free bet. All right, here we go. Next. I will, though. For real.
I know you will.
I will. Maybe I'll even back one of their bets.
There
Who
you go.
knows? All right, next one. Big 10, which is like more like Big 47 now. Okay, what a crazy conference.
It's weird to look at.
I don't
It
even
is.
know how to feel about it. I think Purdue is poverty. I hate that school. I got to go get that tattoo. You know that might not be a bad thing to do this week.
Hey,
Wow.
I hope you guys heard that. It's still happening, so you don't have to message and
Why don't we go?
comment.
Hey, why don't we for the next show schedule them to have them here? We can get an action shot of my ass getting tattooed,
Let's do it.
and then that way we could like kick off March Madness with the ass tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's going to be good.
All right.
It's well-deserved.
It's time to commit, and I understand.
boiling up.
I delayed this like a 10-year relationship where you haven't proposed. How many of those are the wives like, I haven't gotten a ring yet? Okay, here's where we're at.
something
So
common with Purdue.
in this conference,
Yes, very.
I'll tell you this right now. Michigan State looks like the runaway favorite. I'll tell you the lowest performing best team I've ever seen. They have 2 of the top 5 players in the country. Rutgers is an 11 seed. And they don't have a big man that can play any bit of defense. It's devastating. If they had a big man, they would be a 4 seed in this conference. It's actually crazy the coach didn't go and find him someone.
You know what should have happened?
What?
You made the perfect point, but you know what should have happened?
What?
You remember that giant on FAU who's now, I think he's on
Vlad.
Michigan?
He's on
Yeah.
Michigan.
That's
Vlad
who they
Goldau.
should have got.
Yeah, Golden would have been perfect for them.
Yep, Vlad Golden.
He would have been a perfect fit alongside those 2 stars.
I completely agree. And instead, the coach said, I'm going to squander a whole season with 2 of the best players Rutgers has ever seen. I hope they don't transfer. I hope they get a big man in and they can play some ball. Because next year, if they get a big man, watch out.
Sure.
All right. For this year, you want me to pick a team? Oh, God.
And with Purdue, it's been scuffling, so it's hard to back them as a
I'm
number.
out of Purdue. I'll take Rutgers to win against USC. I'll take Rutgers to beat Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play Michigan then. They're
go.
going to get cracked against Michigan because they're so big. I'll give you a flyer. I think Illinois needs to win some games.
They do.
I'm going to take Illinois to get to the final, and they're going to lose against... Oh, God, I can't bet against Michigan State, even though I don't think they're that good. All right, I'll take Michigan State versus Illinois in the championship game.
Illinois playing great. They're finally healthy. That big win over Purdue last week.
Yeah.
Certainly, they're a dangerous team. I think they can probably be a 6.
What's Illinois in this? Illinois in this
They're
is
7, and
plus
that's-
750.
Yeah, plus 750.
That's great value.
Heads up. That's up. There's your sleeper.
Yep, and
That's great
they could
value.
be a sexy draw in come Selection Sunday in your bracket at NCAA tournament time because they're going to be a dangerous team. It'll be intriguing to see where they land.
I'll tell you this: if you see them in a 4 or 5, that's going to suck for you.
Sure.
100,000%.
Even if they're a 6 or a 7, I feel bad for that 2 or 3 seed. That's gonna
have to face them. Maybe.
Yeah, whether it's Kentucky, maybe Texas Tech, Iowa State.
That is a really shit situation.
Yes, it is. I think that could be a game where that spread's even like 5 or less, and that would be around a 32 game. It'll be intriguing to see if Illinois were to somehow get to Milwaukee, but there's a chance they may have to go out west or somewhere, like Providence.
Listen, if Illinois, so Illinois is going to host Ohio State or Iowa.
Yeah.
And there's almost, I mean,
All these games in Indianapolis,
nothing's
of course,
guaranteed, but
Sure.
I mean, they should easily win that game. Then who's to say they don't beat Maryland?
The
and
winner
Michigan
of that
isn't
game,
scary at all.
I would argue the winner of that game will probably
Michigan
get to the...
is not scary.
Correct. The winner of the Maryland-Illinois game, assuming they do match up in the quarters, I would pick to maybe win the tournament, but definitely get there.
to play Michigan State.
Most
Michigan
likely, yep.
against Michigan State was Charmin soft. Watch the whole game.
Oh my
Sure.
God. I watched that
Yes.
game. That was Sunday morning.
They were down 20 at the halftime.
That was a pounding.
Yes, it was.
Hey, how about Utah's only down by 4 against the Celtics? That's crazy.
The
though.
Jazz.
They were. It was a 20-point game.
Beautiful.
I mean, I'm going to cover there, but yeah, whatever. The other 2 games are not looking saucy. Well, they're tied. I need to come back. Hey, we got a chance, though. We got a chance.
If you were looking for another reason to back Michigan State, too, we talk about depth. At least in the NCAA tournament, you do get a day off, but legs are often tired. Michigan State leads the Big Ten in bench points with 28 a game, 21st in the country. They are a deep team. They have 4 or 5 different guards. Jace Richardson, obviously, is one of the better ones, but they're pretty loaded depth-wise.
We all know what the Big Ten does in conference tourneys. They get cracked. Or in NCAA tourneys,
Correct.
they get cracked.
Yeah, they have not. Michigan State's the last team to win it all. The year was 2000.
But I'll tell you what,
and
if-
Jason Richardson, who's now son, Jace, is.
If you're looking for longevity, though, in the tournament, and a team that's bringing in guys off the bench that are scoring near, would you say 30?
Yeah, almost.
Almost 30. That's big.
It is.
Yeah.
That gives you a lot of rest in tournament play. If you could put the bench in there and not give up a lot, in fact, score 30. I mean, what's the next best bench? Do you know?
Well, there's a couple. I can pull it up right for you. I mean, there's a couple teams that have been loaded. In terms of Power 5 teams, Missouri and Alabama are just north of 33 a game. So those are 2 teams that Missouri throws 10 at you. Alabama's got basically, like Michigan State, 4 or 5 guards. The difference...
How many teams in the Big Ten are in the tourney if they voted right now?
9. Yeah, so it'd likely be Indiana's just barely in, Ohio State barely out. Those are the 9th teams.
All right, fair.
Barring we get a big run, like Rutgers is going to have to win the Big Ten tournament. Barring we have...
That's not happening.
Yeah, barring something like that happens.
Unless Harper and who do you call it?
Go off for 50.
Yeah, if they combine for 70 points a game each game, that's
No love for this Maryland team, Cuzzy?
They are the opposite of Michigan State. I actually love them in the NCAA tournament. I'll be intrigued to see. So they're the opposite of Michigan State. They only play 5 guys, essentially. They play like 2-3 off the bench for...
literally 5.
Yeah, like they average over 35
They might
minutes.
be dead in the tourney then. Why do you like them if they only play 5?
I like, in terms of the unison of those 5 guys, they play legit defense. They have 2 maybe NBA caliber bigs. I think defensively, with their guards, the guards are going to have to shoot well. But I think those 5 together, they really get in foul trouble. To me, it's just, can they get hot from the outside? If they can, they could be a dark horse team that maybe is a Final Four threat. But I'm telling you right now, it will be a bloodbath against Illinois. Illinois is so bench-wise, but they have length. I mean, they're 6'8", 6'8", 6'8" at the 2, 3, and 4 positions, so they're built like an NBA team. So that's going to be like a Sweet 16 round of 32 matchup when Illinois and Maryland play in the quarters of the Big Ten. Those are two teams I would circle that I think will get past the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. If they get respectable draws, and you're looking at Maryland, who's fighting for a 4 or 5 seed in the dance, and Illinois, at the moment, it's really stuck between a 6 and a 7. So they're not exactly favorable matchups at the moment, but
fuck 'em.
yeah, they got to play each other. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna talk SEC basketball, best conference in the country.
Oh my!
Somehow the SEC has now become the best football and the best basketball. Yeah, I might have to move states because there's just the best of everything there, and your cousin's one of the best. Okay, sorry, that was douchey. How many teams in the SEC are in the tourney?
That is the $1 million question. At least 10, as many as 12. I mean, you're looking at Auburn's a 1 seed. Florida's likely a 1 seed. Bama's going to be a 2. Tennessee is going to be a 2. That's 4. Kentucky's going to be probably a 3. That's 5. A&M's going to be a 4 or 5. That's 6. Missouri 7. Mississippi State 8. Ole Miss 9. Those are 9 locks. They don't have to play this week. Then Texas, they need some winning to do. So I'm going to say they're out. Georgia's looking pretty good. That's 10. Arkansas, I'm more confident. That's 11. Oklahoma, I wouldn't bank on them.
Do you know what's crazy, though? You want to know what's
12.
crazy? Texas can beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
If they don't play sloppy, because Texas plays sloppy. If they don't play sloppy, if they win that, they play Texas A&M.
Which is always a war.
That's going to be a war.
Yeah.
That's in-state rivalry.
Yeah, A&M plays a slow, methodical pace, so they don't blow any teams out.
Then Texas will play Tennessee, but that'll give 2 good wins to Texas.
Sure. That would probably be enough.
Then Arkansas plays South Carolina. I hate to say it, like Arkansas will win that game, but then they're going to play Ole Miss, which is going to be a coin flip. Mm-hmm. All I'm going to say is this tourney is wide open. I mean, what's crazy is Auburn's plus 150 to win it all. A lot of people say Florida's better than Auburn. I don't have feelings on that. I've watched Alabama play absolutely amazing basketball and barely beat Auburn.
I don't love Kentucky exactly for the NCAA dance. They are a pretty borderline juggernaut offensively. Defensively, they've really lacked. But they're a 6 seed in the SEC tournament. They are no worse than a 4 seed come Selection Sunday. There's a chance they're going to have to play in Milwaukee. Local place for them, I mean, in terms of the map and distance. But they'll probably be a 3 seed in the NCAAs. It could be a team you could fade, but I wouldn't be shocked if they gave Alabama, who swept them, by the way. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, let alone 2-0 right now. The Tide are against Kentucky. The winner of that matchup in the quarters, you're looking at Florida, Missouri. These quarterfinal matchups could be potentially regional semis, Sweet 16 type of matchups that it's going to be very intriguing. These teams can pick up 3, 4, at least 2 quad 1 wins when you beat a top 50 team on a neutral court. So, all
right, well, here's where I'm at.
Who you got?
If I'm going to pick a team to win this conference, unfortunately, it's going to have to come from like a team that I feel like they're hungry to prove a point. And I don't see Auburn. I mean, they're the best, so they can just walk through this and possibly win. But if that one guard Hepburn, if he doesn't shoot the 3 good, they're very beatable.
Sure.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a flyer in this. This is a coin flip flyer. My coin flip flyer is going to be.
So you're fading Iowa. I mean, Auburn. Excuse me.
I just don't want to take a plus 150 chalk against all these good teams.
No, and I'm going to tell you another thing. The quarterfinals in this conference tourney is looking like Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Bama, with a guaranteed shot at the quarters. But if I'm looking at Auburn, they're going to play Ole Miss, who's I think is a really, really good team.
Talented,
and then they're going to play Tennessee if they win that game. At that point, having the 1 seed, as you mentioned earlier many times in the show, it's like, do we want this?
Right. Honestly, they'll be the number 1 overall probably.
They'll want it,
but do you want it?
All I'm going to say is I think I like a Kentucky or a Bama maybe to go really far.
I'm with you. I think the winner of that game.
That's where I'm at. A Kentucky or a Bama is going to go really far to the finals, I think. And I could see either one of those winning it all. I know they're on the same bracket, but I could just see one of them going real far.
That's like a Maryland-Illinois game in the Big Ten. These teams better on paper, obviously.
Do you know what's crazy? Texas A&M, Missouri, Kentucky would be like a 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3 in
another conference. They would be the clear 2 in the ACC. They would be up there with. They'd probably be the 2 or 3 in the Big Ten.
These are the only dudes balling right now.
Correct.
Those Southern.
I mean, you know what's crazy, Danny, is a Ole Miss 65-1.
Yes.
In this,
they're an 8 seed, and yet they're pretty much there are 6
they're
right
saying
now.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're saying they're dead. They played Auburn earlier this year.
Hey,
I watched
Kentucky's 30-1.
Yes. And these are teams that are top 20 in the country. Ole Miss a projected 6 seed as we are 6 days away.
You know what? Just because it's 30-1, I almost feel like I want to take it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you guys a pick, and I don't even know
Let's
the
hear
line.
it.
I'm taking Arkansas in the first round versus South Carolina.
I can tell.
Coach Cal is no shot bowing out on a new team in the first round.
No, I agree with that. They need to win that game for the Selection Sunday.
I don't see it out yet, but it should be out later.
My guess is they're going to be -5 or something like that.
Yeah.
-6. That's my guess.
Razorbacks got something to prove. That's all.
There's where I like Texas in that first round matchup against Vanderbilt for sure. I'll give you that. I don't even know what that line is, but the Texas will probably be +1. Wild guess. Well, we went through every conference for you, and we gave you picks and what we like, what we don't like. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is the craziest time of year. If you don't like a game, guess what? There's one on in an hour. Yeah. So it's like, don't force bet anything.
Right.
You can live wait. Guys, this is when live wagering's the best ever. You like a team, a dog goes down 10 early, you just got a free 9 points on a line. If you like a favorite, if a dog wakes up and they're strong early, then you just save 10 points on a line. Just be smart. There's a ton of games. I don't want you to blow your load on conference tourneys. I want you to blow your load on March Madness. That's what I want you to do. Get to that weekend, get to that week. It's just so much fun. It's chaos on stop. You're betting from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. all night long, unless you're on the West Coast.
Sure.
You weirdos are starting at whatever,
9 or 10,
8, and then you can go to bed early with your wife. It sucks. I'm telling you, basketball on the East Coast, March Madness is the best ever. It's like, don't talk to me. I'm watching games.
Yep.
It is a good excuse.
You might have healthier marriages, but we're happier over here. Just saying.
Listen, a lot of comebacks in March. Like you said, don't force bet. Gamble responsibly. Your cousins, as we always do, we love you to death.
We love you. Stay healthy. See you next time.